exuberance and excitement that comes with the Audi brand, and there's no question that design hasn't played a key role in that. And when you look at something like our new A7 that was recently released, and some photos actually are out there in the marketplace already. This is what's really going to move us in this segment, because we have products that represent the epitome of premier design in the automotive segment. And so we're excited to kind of see how these new products will continue to be received by the U.S. consumers in the coming months. And in context of the A8, I think it's important to say that this has been a product that for many years was kind of the great unknown. We've seen through our research that Mercedes-Benz S-Class and BMW 7 Series owners, just when you talk to a great number of them, they simply don't have Audi on their radar screen. They've never heard of the A8 in a lot of cases, and when you prompt them to start to talk about it, they'll say, yeah, I've heard about that product, but my friend had an issue with it, and whatever the conversation goes from there. The reality is it's been a brand of objection, and when you did drive into your country club, you almost had to defend that product to a certain extent. Why aren't you in the S-Class? Why aren't you in the 7 Series? Where we're going to take the new A8 is to a whole different plane. I mean, more importantly is we are building a certain level of awareness, and consumers are more confident about Audi as a brand because they're frankly seeing more of them on the roads. They see our signature LED lights, whether they are in just the A4 or the Q7, they're seeing more and more of those out there. What we need to do with the A8 is build that level of confirmation. We have a tremendous story of substance with this car. I mean, the reality is with the current A8, the previous generation, it was equipped with the Audi space frame, all aluminum technology in context of that framework. This car possesses that on a whole new scale, along with a whole host of other premier features like LED lighting technology, interior and exterior, MMI touch technology, and just sheer craftsmanship throughout. So there's a whole host of things that make this a significant story, and that's the information that we want to impart to consumers and continue to tell them about why it is a progressive choice within the segment. The other thing that's important as we kind of looked at the marketplace is it's not just about what we're doing in context of the vehicle itself. It's the fact that society's changing to some extent. There is a real shift that's taking place, and this economic downturn over the course of the last 2 years has kind of put a strong thumb mark on that and said, you know, consumers were in very much a position, and the luxury market traditionally was in a position that it was very much of a, let me show you what I have, let me show you my mansion, let me demonstrate to you the dripping gold and the beauty that it possessed and all these exotic vacations. And there's a certain amount of confidence now that comes from being a little bit understated and representing the fact that society's changed and that there are brands that really represent that understated luxury to an extent, but can do it in a very smart way. Because it's not just that it's understated, but it's more so that are you demonstrating a product that you're associated with that has substance, one that represents the premier in engineering, that you paid the price for it because it is one of the best, because it offers a better solution and a better level of significance. And so we've seen this rise in the creative class, and you've seen brands like Apple that actually aren't, you know, necessarily luxury products, but been raised to a certain extent because they are the best in offering of technology in a beautifully designed package. And I think that those solutions, along with being more environmentally conscious, being focused on progressive solutions, are the things that are really important in context of this new luxury segment. And these are the things that the A8 brings with it. It brings this representation, and Audi brings with it this representation of a new, better way, a better solution, one that's very conscious of the times, and a story of substance that supports that. And what we've seen already is that the reviews in context of the A8 have been phenomenal. We've seen, you know, the car was introduced in Miami at a reveal for a number of our dealers and a number of the members of the press, and it had, you know, a wide array of consumer interest. And it wasn't just within the automotive press, but it got into areas that build that level of popularity. When you see InStyle and People talking about the beauty and the design orientation of this car. It won the Eyes On Award in Detroit, just again for its premier styling. And we've already seen through Auto Week, Esquire has been another, that have really talked about the fact that this sedan is not only competitive, but in a lot of cases offers a certain level of premier technology, tremendous driving benefits, and is certainly competitive with the overall segment. So these are just some of the early reviews. We hope that when the car arrives here in the States in the coming months, that we're going to see even more and more of that on a positive framework. But we're really excited about where this has ended up already. And in the end, whoops, thought it was going to start. I wanted just kind of give you a wrap-up of some of the video and television work that we've done in the marketplace, but just so you can kind of see a state of where Audi's been and what we've kind of got on the docket moving forward, and to kind of demonstrate some of the success. So let's see if this...
TDI here? Clean diesel. You're good to go, sir.
It's counterintuitive, little surprise there, but it's very funny.
What is the coolest thing that's happened to you in all your trips to Davos?
Probably the Audi challenge.
So you got a good flavor of some of the things we've been doing from an advertising front, an overall marketing front, and the fact that there's tremendous momentum behind the Audi brand now. We're really excited about the things we've accomplished, but we know we have a long way to go to achieve our long-term goals. So we thank you for having us here today. It's exciting to be a part of this community now that we've relocated here from Michigan here to DC, and it's been about 2 years, so it's good to get to know more and more of the people within this community as we start to continue to build this franchise here in America. So thank you for your time today, and open any questions. Certainly. Any questions?
Are you going to bring an Audi to the
I'll defer to Brad on that. Do we have some cars available with us?
Trying to figure out how we got a couple short leads going around at the same time. So if we can, I'd like to.
Okay, good. Yes.
Particularly in terms of the A8, does the potential rollback of tax cuts for the rich bother you?
It doesn't. I mean, when we look at the U.S. marketplace, we've been through a tremendous challenging time over the course of the last 2 years, and no one can necessarily forecast exactly where we're going to end up in the future. But when we look at this marketplace, we know that there is a viable market when we look at our competitors, where the S-Class and the 7 Series and the LS have stood. We know that there's a fair amount of positive momentum in the marketplace, and so we're going to continue to focus on what we've done well, and we know a lot of that is continuing to brand Audi in the marketplace, because that's what's going to lift consumers' awareness, whether or not you are making $50,000 a year or whether you're making $2 million a year, is to get on those consumers' radar screen and give them this story about what's happening.
Is this the kind of progress you've made here, is this kind of worldwide? And I'd be particularly interested in Europe and Germany. Are Germans buying more Audis?
We've seen tremendous success on a global scale. The brand is growing significantly. Germany has had its fair share of growth, but Audi, actually in all of Europe, has been quite strong for a number of years. Where we've seen tremendous growth has actually been in Asia, specifically in China, where we've seen 200+ year-over-year growth gains. So there has been a great deal of success for the brand on a global scale.
If I could add a couple things, we're pretty much neck and neck with Mercedes and BMW globally, and in Europe. Europe's been a little soft of late, but it's China. It's just going gangbusters. One of the things we were talking on the way here is it's a little bit China's been so strong. It's challenging for us because as we've grown, there's suddenly competition about where Germany sends cars, China or the U.S., which is also growing pretty strong. And so it's a good story in one way. The capacity is kind of maxed out for Audi worldwide, but we have to compete with some of these other places that are doing pretty well.
Yes, who supports the German ski team?
I think actually I did.
Yeah, Audi supports the German ski team,
Uh-huh.
so we support the U.S. ski team. It was a 67 Oldsmobile. So my father has quite a large collection of automobiles, some that are still in the need of refurbishing, and some that we've worked on over the years of growing up and so forth. So less of a business and more of a hobby on his part that he engaged his 3 sons with. So.
Are there any plans to build here in the U.S.?
At this point, it is dedicated to Volkswagen, and that has been the single focus for Volkswagen brand. So at this point, there are no plans. Yes.
Your parent company, Volkswagen, is threatening to bring the Phaeton back. Do you consider that to be friendly fire against the A8 W12?
We know with the A8, because of the way that it is equipped, the marketplace that it is focused on, that it is clearly dedicated and will survive in the competition that exists within the luxury market. Where the Volkswagen product ultimately is going to stand is certainly going to be an opportunity within itself. We saw the success of the last Phaeton, and we'll just certainly have to see where it ultimately plays itself out in the future. But we know that the A8 stands on its own. We think that we've got the right product for the marketplace now. So.
Who buys the W12? Limo drivers?
It's a combination. I mean, a lot of collectors fall within that framework. People that want that level of an exclusive automobile, and it falls into a very high-end luxury segment. There are no specific demographics when you start to get up to that group. I can't necessarily quote household incomes and things along those lines, but when you start to get into people who we've seen some of the studies have personal aircraft of their own, that tends to be a large market for it. So it